Hi, I'm Abiolede. Welcome to the first She Matters of the new year. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. I did. And I hope, just like me, you're looking forward to a fantastic new year. And today with me, I've got two women who will bless you out of your socks. And Revelation TV, I want you to welcome with me Mavis Amankwa and Temi Koleowo. You're welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes. I hope you had a fine time arriving at the studio. I hope everything went well.
Yes, it was smooth.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I suppose a lot of people are not back at work yet, so there's still the slow, motion back into things.
Getting into the flow, yeah.
Yeah, getting into the flow. So I'm going to introduce who I've got with me. I've got Temi Koleowo. She's a business consultant and she runs Business First Steps. And Business First Step provides affordable advice, including development and everything you need to do if you're looking to start a business. And I've got Mavis from Rich Visions, who runs an award-winning integrated communications agency and consultancy, helping organizations to engage with niche diversity. So we're going to be talking about real practical stuff, especially how to evolve in this new year. And before the program, you and I, we were talking about, what's happening at the moment, the recession, and how that even though it looks like everything is doom and gloom, and, for me, I was thinking, I hope people will be able to rise up and do stuff for themselves, because every day, whether you like it or not, we're bombarded with cuts. We're bombarded with this is going under. Redundancies and everything. And so, it's if you really are to focus on that, I get the impression that a lot of people won't be able to do anything. I don't know what you think, because you're in the business field, and so we're going to be exploring things like that. What can we do? As the year progresses, and we really want to make good things of ourselves, And I don't know what your experience has been. I don't know who's going to go first with it.
Yeah, well, I'll first of all say, it's tough for a lot of people, which we understand, but because we've got God on our side as well, it makes all the difference. So in as much as, yes, we started a new year, people are thinking what's going to happen this year, more cuts, tax cuts, this cuts, fuel subsidies, all sorts of things are happening. You still have to know that, okay, God is in there with you. And one of the things we were discussing before is the fact that when you start a new year, whether it's even 6 months into the year, always start from where you're at. Because a lot of people have big goals and big dreams, but they don't look at the steps you need to take to get to that position. So as we start a new year, it's a great idea to say, okay, this is me. This is where I'm starting from. This is my starting position. Yes, I don't have this in place. I don't have that in place. So rather than say, I want to be a millionaire. Yes, it's possible the next 1 year, or I want to achieve these goals. Look at yourself, your family commitments, your financial situation. Even if you're in a job and you want to do something on a part-time, be real about where you're starting from. I really believe in that. And another thing I like to say is, it's like a navigation system, isn't it? When you put your details in a navigation system, if you put KT1, for instance, it will give you a general view of where you want to get to. But to get the exact position, you need to put in KT1, I don't know, 2AA. And that will give you the pinpoint. And to get that pinpoint, that can only come from God. So I strongly believe that even as we're starting the new year, some people may have been praying, for a while, how to start what they want to do. But make sure that you get the direction you need from God. That's I believe, is extremely
And it's
important.
interesting you're saying that, because this year, towards the end of last year, as my husband and I began to pray into directions for this year, we really felt the Lord give us Psalm 92 verse 12 to 14, which talks about the righteous shall flourish in the courts of their God. And if you look at the Amplified Version, it says the uncompromisingly righteous. And I feel that is talking about that man or woman who is really committed to God. And a lot of the times we feel, oh, God needs to be committed to us. I give him my tithes, I give him my offering, I go to church, I'm active, and so that means I'm committed. That's a fraction. The other bit is, yes, God is committed to us because he loves us and we're his children, but we need to be committed to him. We need to put him first. He needs to be in fact, this morning, interestingly enough, I was reading on foundations, talking about the greatest foundation that any man can lay is Jesus Christ. And once we have that foundation, we know that he will never leave us nor forsake us. And no matter what happens, even in famine, we know that God has promised us good things. And we were talking about this at the beginning, that, you know, yes, so this, once we're very comfortable with the spiritual aspect, and we know that everything, and, you know, everything I ever hope to be or become, you know, my life is in God's hands, then we now need to take practical steps to ensure that the spiritual side that is settled, the physical meets up with it. And just like you're saying, you know, there's a very favorite scripture of mine in Isaiah that says, you will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way. So it means God is behind us, is beside us, is around us, saying, go that way, you know, go this way.
Exactly, that's the navigation we need.
But I like what you said. So how do you go from KT1, which is, I know that I need to have another stream of income, or I know that I need to find purpose, or I need to do, how do you go from KT1 to KT1 to AA using your
nerve system? Well, I believe firstly that every dream and every goal that we have in our hearts are God-given. And it's in those quiet moments that you seek God. Because for instance, you can hear KT1 and then you just keep going. Then you get to KT1 and there's so many houses, so many buildings. So what do I do? So it's in sitting down and making sure you put in the right information in the nav system, and that you can only get that directive from God. So when you spend time with God, like you said, seeking God first is so important. I know we've got busy lives, we've got things to do, but in doing the beginning, it helps make the process a lot easier. So rather than get to KT1 first, and then you decide, oh, am I going left or right? You know for sure that God said, this is the way I'm supposed to go, and you follow it through. And I mean, I'm guilty as well. We get so caught up in daily lives. You've got kids, and as women as well, you've got so much you're doing. And it's sometimes you're thinking, oh, but you need those quiet moments to seek God and find direction from Him. And I'm trying to tell myself as well that this year, for everything you think you need to do, because ideas do come, and 100 of them come. I mean, they come, if you're like me, they come in droves, and you want to follow all these directions, but you can't. So the ones that you need to follow, if you seek God, it makes it a lot easier. So you know it's KT1 to AA, not just KT1. So that way you put in the directions in your nav system and you home in, and it just makes it a lot easier.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think at the end of the day, if you've seen what's happening right now with the economy, it's happened before. It happened, you know, how many years ago? It's happened centuries ago. So it's nothing new, but it's how we handle it and how we get through it. And when you look at, you know, previous research, people have really, you know, aspired in times like this, because they're looking at different ways of how they can use their ability and their talent to try and look at how they can develop. So I think this is the time to reflect, and it's about being realistic as well. You know, so many times you want to do so many things, but at the end of the day, how feasible is it? You know, what is it you need to do? And you need to have a plan. You know, many of us get these ideas and think, yeah, we're going to run with it. This is great. This is, you know, you tell a friend, think, wow, this is a great idea. And then you don't really think about it. You don't really, you know, reflect on it. So it's about praying. It's about having a really constructive plan. And it's about taking baby steps. I think too many of us run, you know, before we can walk.
But I think, like you're saying, Mavis, I think, you know, I feel one of the downsides of, not downsides, but one of the things that happen as Christians is the minute we feel God speaks. And I feel there are two categories of people. There will always be the people who spot a gap in the market and they just go ahead and fill it without research, well, with research, but they don't really have to do too much. And there are those who really have to sit down and say, so who am I, where am I going, and what's my purpose? How do you plan? I mean, how do you plan? You know, because I think that bit is the most important. It's like laying the foundation. I was reading on foundations this morning, and the writer was saying of how that one of the houses they lived in Israel, the landlord, you know,